Hello, welcome back to my first two layers guide. In this video, I want to share one quick tip that I was just thinking, kind of a loose ends that I want to wrap up. And then I want to do, I think, let's say 2 example solves. So right now I'm just kind of scrambling my last layer. So the first thing I want to discuss is this case. Whenever you have an edge in place and a corner oriented so that the white is not on top. Okay. Before we discussed this, and basically the idea was this edge needs to go here, so you turn it up, put it in, put it down, do right squared, and put it in. One tip that I've noticed very useful, and keep in mind, like I've said in previous videos, let me see if I can do this correctly. Yeah, it doesn't need to be in the red-green slot to use this idea. You can still go, oh, here's green-red, here's green-red, white, and the green matches up. I can still use the same idea to match it up. And then notice, oh, this has to go in this slot. Okay. So the one idea that I wanted to share with you was this idea. So let me see. If you have this case, I used to always rotate, okay? So I'm holding the white off to the side and the green back here, and I would do a trigger, half turn, trigger. That's perfectly fast, but if you really want to get fast, you want to avoid rotation. So if you happen to be holding it like this already, what is just as fast and avoids that rotation, which might save you a good half a second or longer, is instead to take out the edge here, like this, to set up easy case number 2 instead of easy case number 1, and then do a half turn and then put it in. So I just wanted to give you that as an alternative. So if you happen to have it from this point of view, doing this with a half turn and putting it in might be easier than rotating the cube, trigger, turn, trigger. But that's just a suggestion. Another example where it might be useful, let me see, is, I keep setting up the same thing. Like from this angle, I'd probably do it the usual way. So put this up here, do half turn, put it up. But if I was holding it, say, from this angle, this is the mirror image, I might do this. Make sure you get good with your left hand, at least adequate. All right. So now let's do a couple of example solves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to walk you through. So get a solved cube. All right, I'm going to walk you through the scramble, and then I'm going to discuss what I see and what I would do as I'm solving my first 2 layers. So first, hold green on the front and white on the top as you scramble. Okay, and here's the scramble. I'm just making it up as I go along. It's not necessarily a random scramble, it's just one for my head. So first, turn the top or up side clockwise, then right counterclockwise, down clockwise, just like this, left squared, front counterclockwise, back squared, so turn the back twice, left clockwise, front clockwise, right twice, up twice, front clockwise, down counterclockwise, back clockwise, and up counterclockwise. I think that's a good enough scramble, don't you think? I was just doing whatever. All right, so let's go ahead and look at it. So I'm going to walk through the entire first 2 layers, including the cross. So this might be a little good for practicing cross as well. So first I find all 4 of my edges, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the first thing I ask is, are any of them in place correctly? Answer, no. All right. And then I ask, can any of them be put up in a single turn, where half turn still counts as a single turn? And the answer is yes. Orange and red can be put up in a single turn. Okay. Now, while I'm doing that single turn, is there any way I can set up another one? Maybe not. So here's what I'm thinking. Okay, I'm going to put this red up, okay, and I'm going to do a half turn here on bottom, although I'll probably be holding it like this, to put the orange and then put the orange in. As I'm putting that orange in, however, I'm going to be turning it this way and putting the blue in. So turning the orange where it goes, put the red in so it's in its place. This blue will go in here as I do it. So 1, 2, 3. Then an easy way to get this is just to turn, okay, and then do a little L prime, I guess. Put it in and then put it back down. So that's my cross. Now, from this point of view, what's the very first F2L pair I see? Unfortunately, there are no corners in the top, but for example, I see this corner and this edge. I could also do this one and this one. There's a lot of options, okay? Now, this is a little tricky, and this is where actual practice comes in, because this isn't something we explicitly discussed in the video. But here, if I were to, this is more or less the same thing we were discussing in the previous video, where I could do one of two things, okay? Because I can't match it up with the correct center, okay? So either here or here is the key. I need to hold this edge either here or here. If I hold it here, then doing this pairs them up incorrectly, which is not what I want. So instead, these are the same color. I'm going to put it here and put this corner out there to pair them up. Okay, then turn it and put them in. Now, as I'm doing that, boom, I immediately see this. So that's my next pair. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead. There's a couple different ways you can do this, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the corner above its spot. Okay. Now, normally, the way that we showed it before, I would put it here across from the spot, and I would do a trigger using this empty slot. But here, this slot is not done anyway. So now, using this slot to move this edge over is just as fine. And now they're set up. Cube rotation will put it in. As I'm doing that, I notice, there's the corner, there's the edge. I'm ready for my next one. Here's another example where it's useful to use multiple slots. So here I could do this multiple ways. The usual way would be to turn the top, then do the 3 setup moves, 1, 2, 3 to set them up, and then do a half turn and another 3 to put it in. That's a lot of moves though. What I can do instead though is utilize this blank slot, and it'll avoid a cube rotation. So I can turn the top using this slot as the way of rotating this one around, and then it's also already immediately set up just to put this one in. There we go. Now my last pair I see here and here, so I'm going to do up squared to match them up, and this is one where I just have to take it out and put it in correctly. So hopefully that was relatively easy to follow. That's the first 2 layers, and then you do the last layers however you want. I usually do orientation in one step and then permutation in one step, although honestly my orientation and permutation algorithms do need a little bit of work. Now let's do one more example to look at how you do F2L when an actual solve. So again, I'm going to give you the scramble so you can follow along if you'd like to. I encourage you to do so. Hold white on top and green on front, and do the following: right clockwise, front counterclockwise, up twice, okay, front counterclockwise, down clockwise, right counterclockwise, front clockwise, right twice, up clockwise, left twice, down clockwise, front counterclockwise, right clockwise, down twice, back twice, left twice, right twice. All right, we'll call that the scramble. So let's look around. So I immediately see these two and these two. All right. So far, I'm liking this. This cross looks easy because I have I have no edges in place now, but I have two edges that can go up in a single move, the orange and the red. And notice they go up in opposite spots, which is exactly what you want because orange and red are opposite colors. Now, as I'm doing that, I know that the green needs to go here relative to this red if this red were to go here. So I'd probably turn this front, put the green in, and then put the red up while doing this. So let's say, hold it like this. I'm going to flick the back, although I'm holding it more as an up. Put the green in and put the red in. Okay. And before I just get greedy and put the orange in, I'm going to turn the top, then put the orange in, then put the blue, and then rotate the bottom to match up all the centers. So now I've got my cross. All right. Now what's the first one I see? These. Red, blue. Okay. Again, this is the usual case, but the edge is not in the red-blue slot. It's in a different slot. So again, you hold it like this, and you notice opposite colors. So that means this one needs to go here. So that one goes here, and you go like this, and then you're immediately set up to put it in here. So if you got the ability to really look ahead, you wouldn't just do a right and then a right. You would do right squared, and you would have no pause in between. And then you put it in. Boom. That's obviously the next one that we see. All right. So I'm going to rotate the cube and use this slot, which is not correctly put in, to break them up. So I'm going to bring this corner down and rotate this edge halfway around. Put it back up. So now these two are paired up, and without rotating the cube, I can just do an up squared to fill it in into this slot. Up squared to put the corner above its spot, and do the 3 moves to put it in. I see these next. Okay, there's a couple different ways to do this. I could rotate it here. This would be the normal way to do it because I'm putting in this slot. And then put this down, put this over, and put it up, which is perfectly fine. Do a left squared and put it in with another finger trick. That's perfectly fine. Another thing you might do is utilize this open slot. You might just turn this. Perhaps if you're not quite as good with your left hand, you might do a little bit with your right hand and go like this, and then rotate this one to here and use this slot to put this corner down, since that slot is not yet finished, and then triggered in, which I think is a little bit nicer. Now, as you're finishing it up, you see this pair, and that one's an easy one, which you just put in nice and quick. And then do the last layer however you know how, and you're done. So I think that's it. I think that's probably all the videos that I'm going to do on the first 2 layers. I may add a few more example solves in another video later. If I do, then it'll just be added to this list. So thank you all for watching. I hope this was useful. I hope I didn't go too quickly, but I hope it was useful for everyone. All right. Thanks for watching.